Hi, my name is Kevin Jones, and this is my channel, Life, Mind, and Money. I started this channel because I believe there is an issue in our society regarding personal finance, and it is just not talked enough, and is not educated enough amongst everybody within schools, households. And I do believe that the reason that we are going further and further in debt is because these subjects are just simply not talked about. Our education is made up of simple writing and reading and math, and those are all great things. But money drives our society today. And we need to talk about money more. And we need to put our money to work. Money needs to work for us. And we need to stop reaching out for a credit card always to buy something because we feel like it. We need to work some more sound strategies and get ourselves out of debt so that money starts working for us and that we still, start developing wealth. Wealth is a good thing. Society doesn't seem to, and you hear it in the news about wealth, but the reality is that wealth is a good thing. Wealth creates, financial independence so that we can go do the things that we want to do. And when we have wealth, then we can also start helping people. Because the reality is that we want to help people and we want to help people get ahead. And so I'm hoping that this channel will provide some tips, some tools to help you get there. That's why I created the channel for what it's called, because there are life strategies and there are mental approaches. Because you mentally got to get your mind around money and what it is and take control of it. And so it's not just about personal finances, it's about those other things, those life goals and those mental strategies that will help us get ahead in life. And I'm going to try to build episode on episode about all of those things. And so hopefully it will all come together so you do have a better life and that you can get ahead, get out of debt, and start moving forward in the way that you want to. And so that you don't just have to do the grind and just work, that you can start doing other things that you want to take charge of, whether it's travel or charity or whatever it is that makes you feel good. You feel like you've got the resources and the money to do it. My story is the story of many other Americans. My wife and I went to school. We got educated. I have a graduate degree, and ultimately we were in debt. We ended up having $62,000 in school loans, and you're just sitting there like, wow. Great that I got this education. It was gratifying, but now I am in a massive hole. And then we went to get some great jobs in our 20s. And by the time I reached the age of 30, I didn't know where our money was. And it was at that point, when I was about 30, that I started to say, boy, we really need to step back here and take charge of what we're doing, because we're just further getting into a hole. And that hole was never more understanding to us than when I downloaded a free program on mint.com when it was first starting. And I remember inputting all of my assets and all of the massive liabilities. And then at the bottom, it tells you what your net worth is, because net worth is very important. It is really the sole number about truly what you are worth financially. And everybody needs to know what they're worth financially, and we'll talk about that in future episodes. And I remember that in big red letters, it said negative 42,000. And that was certainly an eye-opening day. It was eye-opening, not really realizing how much in debt we are, but also we were worth less than zero. That can be awful depressing. But I chose to take a different approach on it. It knew that while we had hit an absolute low, we knew also that we could take charge of the situation and dig ourselves in our hole and put some approaches together that will allow us to actually start creating wealth based on the jobs we had and stop spending money in ways and allowing our debt to just keep accumulating and just having it always there instead of actually just taking it off our plate. And so in a short amount of time, we were actually able to flush that debt and actually start really achieving wealth year after year on a very fast approach. And so these are the tools and the things we will talk about over the next coming weeks and months to provide those tools and so philosophies and things to think about how you may want to go about in your own approach. Everything we talk about this channel may not be for you, but they're things to think about and things about you may have even thought about how, hey, I could try this or I could try that, and really find the people or coaches that may be able to help you along your journey. And so that is why this channel is dedicated to that. I'm trying to give a voice to a topic, a subject that really needs to be talked about more in our society. Because the reality is it's just not there. And hopefully you'll be able to use these tools to really give that to your family and friends and spread that word. Because you got to start somewhere, and this is hopefully a grassroots movement of really getting some simple philosophies out there. I've done a lot of reading, especially when we started our journey, really diving into it. I've read a lot of authors. I will say that I have really enjoyed the readings of Dave Ramsey. While I don't agree with all of his philosophies, I believe he has said a lot of great things and has got a lot of great strategies that have helped us. But there are other things too that we can add into the mix that will certainly take things off for you, things that maybe you haven't thought about. And so when I think about my own journey, and knowing that that journey is so similar and such a situation that we were in and everybody else has been in, that I'm hoping that my own experiences will provide some insight for you, knowing that you may be able to take charge as well. And recognize that whether you're young or old, everything we talk about is still for you. If you feel like you're young and you're learning, that's great. You'll put some great philosophies throughout your life, and you'll get a head start, and you'll allow your money to grow over time. Money and time go hand in hand. But also if you're on the latter years, you're nearing retirement, don't feel like it's too late. There is still time for you to start cleaning things up or start saving in different ways that will allow you to reach your retirement years with dignity and have fun with it and feel like you have some independence and do things that you want. So there really is no timeline here. There is no magical age. It's more about the practices that we do on a day-to-day basis so that we can achieve whatever that goal is that you are seeking. From my own successes, my desire to teach, to learn grew. It really started with friends and family, and I was being seeked out by many of them because I knew that I took an interest in the subject, and that is why I feel like this channel is the next evolution of that. I feel like I've helped so many people that are close to me that I want to help you. And so I hope that you will come into this channel with open arms and keep an open mind about what's talked about here. You don't have to agree with everything that's said here, but just understand some strategies. Personal finance doesn't have to be difficult, but there also does need to be a level of understanding, and that you will learn something and then you'll go research it more and try to dive a little bit more into it, or maybe go find people that can help you understand more of these things before you take on these strategies. It's about, honestly, it's the mental approach about how you go about it. If you're going to spend every day just spending your money, you'll realize at the end of the day you may not have anything. And so realizing that if we end up putting our money in places that will grow for us over time and doing it automatically, or doing it with a set plan or a budget, sometimes these are words that we don't like to talk about. They're hard, they're difficult, because a lot of times is that we want to have fun and we want to enjoy, but we also know that there's consequences to spending too much. And so we recognize that there are things we can do to kind of harness that, and maybe some delayed gratification, knowing that there's still this ultimate goal out here, but still having a fun and having a great life. But it all depends on what those goals are for you. And so you'll learn that I had all these same struggles, and that this will be hopefully a channel that's very relatable to you, and that I hope that we can provide ways to really push your life forward in a real meaningful way. In my time in education, I have an MBA. I also took upon myself to get certified in financial education, and I hope I can bring some of that out. I believe that education is important, but I also believe that practice and implementation can be even more important. You think about things on a resume. While education is a great starting point, you have to practice. You've got to, experience may even make more of a difference. And so, we focus on, mental approaches and life approaches to these things. They will play an even more impactful way in how we manage our money. I will do my best on this channel to provide, tips and practices that you can implement immediately. The point is that personal finance can get complicated, but I want to show you approaches that are simple and easy, and things that you can either do research on your own and start either using technology, or is there some simple readings that you can do to kind of do some research, or more importantly, evaluate what you are already doing and see if there's ways that you can tweak it. Is there a good coach you can bring on with you to help you develop the plan that's fit for you? Keep in mind that there is no one-size-fits-all for everybody's financial situation and their life approaches. There's just simply not. And so the idea is to put many things in front of you to help prepare you for life, whether you're young or old, and so that you can achieve the best in your life. When we ultimately decided to get out of debt, what we found is that we had, outside of our own mortgage, we had $62,000, mostly made up of school loans, in debt. And at first I was like, this is ridiculous. This is so much money that we had to pay off. But we put a plan together. And in 16 months, what you really think about is not that much time, we were able to wipe that clean and really put things in a forward direction. And if you think about it, there are ways that you can really consolidate and put your money to work to wipe these things out in a shorter amount of time. But it does take some real mental fortitude to make those things happen. And that's what we decided to do within our own household. And let me tell you, it's probably one of the most gratifying things to say that when you finally paid off all that debt, you're elated, and you knew that you put all that hard work and time into this. And so those are the practices that I want to pass on to you, because I want you to be out of debt. And I want you to feel the freedom it gives you, knowing that you just don't have anything left on your plate, that you owe the bank nothing. And that great feeling to know that you don't owe interest or anything, that your money now is yours. And you can do whatever you want with it, whether you want to spend it, you want to save it, you want to invest it. It doesn't matter, it's yours. And that you owe to nobody. You don't have any liens, you have nothing. Your money is yours. And when that paycheck comes back, no longer talking about paycheck to paycheck, but about having discretionary money to do all of those things that you want to do. And so that is the key point here, that we were so elated to have that done that we were able to do things in our life that we weren't before. And so in the reality of life, 16 months is nothing. We built the hole, but we got ourselves out of the hole. And that is exactly what I want you to take charge of as well, and get out of that hole and start going northward with your life and how you manage your own finances. Ultimately, that is why this channel is called Life, Mind, and Money. I think it's a great summation of what people are going through today. You think about what's going on within our own country and our government and politics, and what businesses are doing, and how the benefits that they're providing their own employees. And we think about what we had before and now what do we have today. And things have changed dramatically over the last couple of decades. And unfortunately, I think there's an entire generation of people who are kind of caught in the middle, because there was expectations they had when they started in the workforce, and those things are gone now. The younger generation didn't have to deal with those things. And so they are now taking on a different approach about how we go about it. But also in the process, debt became norm to them. Not like our generation back from World War II. The Depression era people they knew how to save. That's all they knew. And so I look at my own grandparents who saved every dollar they can because that's what they grew up with. But now our younger generation, all they know is debt, and they don't know how to save and how to get ahead. And hopefully there's a cultural change about the tools and philosophies out there, because we all need to rework how we think about money in order to get ahead. And so this channel is dedicated to that, is making sure that people get a philosophical change in everything we do in our life so that we can be financially independent. I hope you will come along with this journey. I hope to provide plenty of content over the weeks, months, and years, and really enjoy this and work towards whatever that is next in your life. I think there's a lot of new things coming out there on a daily basis, whether it's apps and technology that certainly drives our world. But I think there's even simpler things that we can put on paper, goal writing, and then utilize those technologies to complement the things that we can use within our finances and retirement accounts and savings account and everything else that makes up that. Honestly, even it comes to just holding money. I mean, it's something that's been lost. Everything is electronic. And we'll talk about that because we can't lose touch about what really money is and how much it drives our world and our minds and everything on a daily basis. So I appreciate you coming along. I hope you enjoy. Certainly hit that like button. We need the support. Down below is the subscribe button. I hope you'll hit that because we're going to provide a lot of great content. And I want you to follow along with my journey of how I got to financially successful. But I want you to feel the same way. It's all about making sure that you take charge. And so, as you know, the channel is Life, Mind, and Money. Follow along. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. I want you to come along for this great journey. Thank you for your time. Have a great day.